Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. We'll just pick up where we left off yesterday. I looked at Q54, and because I somehow missed Q54, I got Q55 at the same time. They all came in one package. There's just so many artists in these. That's what's awesome about the Q anthologies is they find so many artists from so many different places around the world. So I'm just breaking the videos up. So this is the Baltics Comic Magazine Q number 55. The theme of this, they're each themed, is this is Comic Sans Frontiers, Border Defiance, and graphic narratives. And, however that's going to be interpreted by people contributing to this. The cover on this is by Art Spiegelman, so that gives you a sense of like how this is valued within the community of the medium, is that someone like Art Spiegelman is contributing to it. And I feel the same way about it. This is really a place to come to see people trying new things, to see the real variety. You're not going to like everything in here, but you're going to be challenged. You're going to find some artists you like. You're going to find some stuff you think is awful. That's what makes this so powerful. So as I always do with these, I'm just going to go through and show a spread from each artist and, encourage you to follow up on the ones that you like. This piece here is by Andrew Kozlowski. Really like the patterning and the coloration in this. This issue, unlike any of the other Q***s I've seen, also has academic essays in it. So this is by Christopher Sperandillo, an associate professor of art at Rice University. It's called Herding Cats, Comics in the Expanded Field. Me personally, as someone who loves comics and someone who's worked in academia and someone who's gone to comics conferences, I really don't like academia in my comics. I feel like they take everything great about comics and typically ruin it. Especially like Christopher Sperandino is someone who's writing about comics specifically as comics, so it's not as bad. But some of them in this are like social studies people who can't get their papers published in a proper social studies magazine, so they got to write about comics to get their shit published. And I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna piss a lot of people off with this, I'm sure. But I've gone to some of these conferences, and to me personally, it's just fucking intolerable to hear that stuff. Like, I want to talk about comics as comics. I don't want to talk about them as some other in relationship to some other field. So not for me, but I do like the idea of combining like these more critical essays with the comics. I just realized when I went to some of these conferences that as soon as you put something into academia, like, it just gets stuffier and it takes away some of the fun of comics for me. So there's a way to do this out there, and I think the rogue academics like Ryan Holmberg are the ones who are most interesting to me, because they've decided that we need this kind of attention to comics. People arguing for comics, but filtering it through all of the processes of academia and peer-reviewed papers and stuff like that is a little bit much. I don't know that this got peer-reviewed or whatever, but it's something that makes this particular issue an interesting one, and something that I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that don't have the same kind of instinctive response to that kind of stuff as I do. So would probably be very interesting for a lot of people. Really nice little piece here by Mia Oberlander. Really fun, like diagrammatic, rhythmic cartooning, which I always like. Love the colors. Vera Beckma, really like the tone and texture work in this one, along with the cartooning. Really fun. Completely wild style here by Liga Spundi, I believe. Totally wild looking stuff. We have a comic Nightmare by Mingo Almazan. Really nice, kind of like hand painted, super stippled. Well, it's actually not stippled. It's on a textured board. I don't know. Maybe this is digital. No, this looks like it's got to be like on a textured piece of paper with like color pencils or something. But yeah, nice. I really like the colors in this one by Jessica Snow. No Walls Anywhere. Augusto Mora. This one's actually surprisingly like mainstream looking for Q*** magazine, but that's what I'm saying about the Q*** is you'll go from something that looks like a mainstream kids book, to something like this in a few pages. That's the value of this magazine. And then you flip over to Christopher Sparandino, who did the essay in the one, now is doing a comic here. So, like, okay, that's the academics that should be writing. Like, you can actually make a comic. Those are the people who I'm going to read. But this little Trumpy piece, so getting political in here, going with like a Dennis the Menace vibe. But a lot of real, actual like production skill and stuff using the old tone. That is, if we're going to have people writing about comics, they should be people who could make comics very well. Really nice what looks like a woodblock or lino cut production here by Joost Halbertsma. An actual interior contribution from Art Spiegelman. So again, like lending some weight to the anthology itself. Like, you've now been canonized. The canon man himself, the canon determiner himself, Art Spiegelman, has signed off on you. Robert Pruitt, kind of like a fun sci-fi piece here. So again, seeing the real variety of different types of styles. Really like the pencil illustrations in these. Love the look of this, the cartooning in this, the design of this. This is by Kareem Oyazabal. Awesome image. Real good use of like a grain to create a gradient too. Really nice design and cartooning by Cheyenne Oliver. This is the type of stuff I'm probably most inspired by right now. I know that seems weird to anyone that knows the history of my work, but this is the kind of stuff I'm trying to learn from right now. Sophia Adams Giron, Amy Lynn Emilin Ing. Another essay here called From Comics on Campus to Campus Comics. I didn't read that one, so I can't really tell you what it's about. Then an article here talking about comics and beyond at Rice University's Foundrin Library. So I guess just to check in with the library there. What's cool about this is they have some like original art reproductions of like a Chick Young drawing, and the little things like that are fun in the essays. But personally, I'm not going to read these essays. What can cartoonists teach engineers? That actually sounds kind of interesting. I might have to go back and read that one. Because it's formal. It's like, what does the formal nature of comics do? This one, manga, language, and identity. So this is one of the social study ones where it's like, how does the comics medium help people form idea of their LGBTQ plus identity or whatever? That's the kind of shit that I just don't really care about. It's not about comics. It's about something else. If that's what you're into, go read articles about that. That's fine. But I don't need to go to a conference and listen to social studies. An evening with Jack Katz and Jacques Vallée, so maybe an interview or just, oh, this is just someone's story about spending an evening. Again, it's that kind of stuff like, oh, now it's in my office at Rice University, blah, 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 blah. Not interested in that. But then we get some stuff by Jack Katz, and the stuff by Jack Katz is awesome. Just show me the awesome art by Jack Katz. I don't good for you. You hung out with him. Make a comic about it. Don't write an essay about it. But yeah, so really awesome Jack Katz art. It looks like unadjusted original art, which is really nice too, because you can see where the whiteout's at and whatnot. Barbara Sherman. This is one of those, we're going to go find cartoonists no one's ever heard about and tell you how great they are. That's cool. Just show me the comics. Don't write about it. Queer Cuban comics beyond borders. Wow, that's specific. That's what you get in academia that's so fucking annoying, is like everything's been written about. So you have to drill down into like, you can only talk about queer Cuban comics. That's this person's career and specialty. I did just notice though, just a quick scan here, they are mentioning Sexilo, which is actually by my old graduates. They're saying it's translated by Omar Baños, but that's by Jaime Cortez. Do they talk about Jaime? Yeah, okay, good. Jaime Cortez. Yeah, that's actually, maybe I should read this one. But see, like, it doesn't need to be about queer Cuban comics beyond borders. Like the Sexilo is a really great comic by Jaime Cortez. He was my grad student instructor at Berkeley. And it's a really beautiful book. I need to do a review of that one, because that's probably something that no one else has seen before, because Jaime gave me a copy. So actually, yeah, as much as I'm shitting on this, I'm actually really excited that they're talking about Jaime's comic. But like, reprint the comic, like, it doesn't need to be an academic article. But yeah, actually, this will make me pull out Sexile because I have it. And they have it in here that it's a flipbook comic that's Sexile on one side and Sexilo in Spanish on the other side. So I'll pull that out and do a critique of that because that will be better than reading this article. Paper Doll Effect on Drafting and Gender Stylization in Comics. How drawings of people affect gender. Who gives a fuck? Like, go back to your social studies. That's not about comics. Mooncakes in the Sukkah. Gender, cultural, and linguistic non-binary comics. That sounds a little more formal. From the Notebook of a Homesick Immigrant, German Identity Through Objects in Heimat. No one cares about how German identity is formed through comics. I hate to tell you. That's the kind of shit that probably wouldn't get published anywhere but in a comics anthology, comics academic journal. French comics and the secret life of adults. Everything from colonialism to feminism. Bubbles fanzine. Hey, is someone at least writing something critical about something contemporary? Comics Go Raw. By 14, I thought Moebius and Bill All were the superlative masters of comics art. That's the other thing is a lot of these people are like writing in a semi-academic context, but then when you read it, it's not properly academic work. It's just like, hey, I'm a fan of comics and I want to make a career talking about it. And then this one, a short history of Kush, which is nice. Like, hey, there we go. We actually have the history of the magazine. So this chunk, as you can see, I'm obviously going to get myself in trouble talking too much shit, but I'm not a big fan of having all this kind of academic stuff in this one. But then we get to Dirk Verschuur's scientific comic about gravity. And I really just wish like that a lot of these people doing this type of stuff, like learn how to make a comic. If you want to talk about gender identity in comics, that would make a fascinating comic. And you could use the language of comics to show your visual examples and all of that type of stuff. I think one of my big gripes about academics working with comics is they typically can't make comics. So they don't really understand, like, unless you can really make one at a high level, you don't understand it well enough to really talk about it. Like in a medium where we have Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics, which is like a fantastic piece of intellectual and academic writing done in the medium, it kind of sets the precedent for me for what academic work in comics should look like. Nick Sasonis's Unflattening, books like that. It's a medium that can handle doing it in the medium, it's really hard for me to take seriously things that people say who aren't doing it, especially when they're not even talking about like the history of comics or something like that. They're trying to talk about their actual topic that they want to talk about, gender studies or whatever, and they're just looking to comics as like a cultural source to pull from and critique. That's just not a program I'm particularly interested in. So I just think that they're like, when you have Christopher Sperandino doing something and then showing like, hey, I can make comics too, I'm more likely to go back and read that. But then like, do me an essay with this and like put your social criticism in this. I just think that's a much richer way forward for the medium. So maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just a little bit let down by the unimaginative approach to writing short essays versus drawing short essays or something like that. So overall, Kush, I'm always excited about. This particular one, just because I'm a grouchy, curmudgeonly old fuck who doesn't like reading essays, I was less excited about this. It just brought back memories of the times that I've been to and suffered through, a day long of listening to people read their papers at these conferences that they have to go to. So sorry for the grouchiness about that. But Kush in general, I still think is one of the best anthologies out there. And to their credit, they're continually experimenting. They're going in and trying something new like this. And I think the medium really deserves that approach. I would just challenge, I guess, anyone who's an academic in comics to make a comic. Say what you have to say in comic format. If you love comics so much, make one.
Splashing on the land, gambling with strange to